Hey, good evening, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in into another episode of the Gen Z Mind Show. And today with us we have Alicia, and she's going to be our guest speaker, right? Our invited person today, and she's talking to us from London, right, Erika?
Yes, I would want to know about you, Alicia. Thank you very much for accept our invitation. It's our pleasure, and we love that you had another point of view coming from Europe, like all the things that are happening. And the idea of our show, where Samuel is our super host, is to reflect, to have a space to talk about emotional intelligence, emotions, the things that are happening in your generation, that is the Gen Z, that they are people from 1995 to 2015. So it's a long period. And I love to work with you guys because I believe that you are changing the world. In fact, no, you're having a lot of coronavirus, here in USA, the shootings in the school, the electronics, all the things that you are having. So tell us about you, Alicia. Tell us de dónde vienes, where are you coming from?
So I was born in France, so in Nancy in the mountains. And at the age of 2, my whole family moved to Miami, where I met Erika. And yeah, I grew up there for about 6 years and then returned to France and did my high school over there and in international school, which enabled me to pass exams that gave me the opportunity to apply in UK universities, so the United Kingdom, and more particularly veterinary schools, which in France are very, very difficult to enter. So it was easier with good grades to apply abroad in this case. And yes.
Wow, super.
Lots of
How long
traveling.
have you been there?
In London at the moment, 2 months.
Oh,
Because
okay, just
the
short.
coronavirus, our first semester was online, so I decided to save some money, especially the rent, because it is very expensive here. And yeah, I stayed in France for 3, 4 months. I'm finally here and I'm on campus right now. So
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
congratulations.
yes. I know someone, you let me ask because I know a little bit about Alicia that nobody knows, but I know that you went to Africa with something. Tell us about that. I'm very curious about that experience.
So basically, 1 year ago, I didn't know what I wanted to do as further studies. So I decided very spontaneously to go to South Africa for 3 weeks with a British organization called the African Conservation Experience.
Mhm.
And basically, I traveled on my own to the Limpopo province in South Africa. And I followed a vet for 3 weeks in his daily consultations. And it was pretty impressive, exhilarating, and scary sometimes. But I learned a lot over there, and it was nice.
Wow. How is the Alicia before and after that experience?
I think I've gained in maturity, especially in terms of animals. I think now I can take a step back. For example, I have a little story when we were doing mass captures. So basically in South Africa, for the flora to develop properly, for the animals not to eat everything, especially during the hot season. Well, they tend to move troops of antelopes around South Africa so that they're not all concentrated in the same area.
Mm.
And so during one of the mass captures, one of the kudu bulls broke his tibia.
Mm.
And well, of course, he was suffering. So the vet decided to shoot him to end his suffering. And I think in that moment, I wasn't really ready to accept that because, just the action of doing it, and it was very quick. But now I can, say that it was for the best and that it was not a painful death. It was very quick. And it was better that than having the animal limping and, suffering. So yeah, I think in terms of maturity.
Shocking. Yes, and understanding and talking about emotional intelligence and understanding, accept and respect
Mhm.
others, no? And sometimes we need to left to send away the things, and this in this case the life of an animal, uh, for good. So and to accept that is not easy, no? Oh
Mm.
wow, what an experience! What an experience, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, like putting myself in her perspective, I was thinking that it would probably have been a very difficult thing to watch. So like it's something that probably affected you in a way that was negative at the time, but maybe it's a good thing now as you now see it as like, okay, now I understand that this happens and why this happens, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah, and it gave me the opportunity when it came to the application period for universities. I had to write a personal statement, and they were looking for qualities for, things that would differentiate you from other applicants. And I think the term resilience was very important because, I could tell them that in those moments, in that moment particularly, I could keep calm and, you know, compose myself. And I think that's important in the veterinary profession to be able to, when you euthanize an animal, just be in control of the situation.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, that and the frustration and to tolerate that all that emotions that are coming the same time, no?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now, how do you describe yourself? Like talking about like emotionally describing yourself.
I think right now I'm probably the most independent I've ever been in terms of living everyday life. I've gone from living at home with my whole family, and of course having my mom cooking for me and cleaning my clothes, to complete independence. And now I have to do everything, and it's very overwhelming sometimes. But I think it's the best way to learn, to just throw yourself out there. And well, of course you'll make mistakes as first, and your first dishes in terms of food will not be very good. And yeah, you'll just learn. And I think right now it's a big period of transition. And I think that the whole COVID-19 situation obviously isn't making it easy for anybody, but moving the first year of university um, in this COVID transition is even harder, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes. Yes. Samuel, do you want to? I have a question.
Yeah,
Samuel.
no, I definitely agree. Like I was thinking, right? Like I was like kind of deviating a little bit of the topic in my mind, but I was thinking, right, that this experience in general and like everything we just spoke about right now, like it's a kind of a transition, right, that affects you in a good way, right? Like it makes you, I guess, more calm and collected, right? Like I feel that now you probably like comparing yourself to other people, you're probably more adapted, right, to remain calm when something bad or something difficult happens. So that's a good thing. That's what I was thinking like this whole time.
Mhm. Yes, you get the word adapting. Like I think is one of the more that we have been learned about this period, the COVID, no? And I say always, it's like Darwin says, no, it's not the more stronger, is the one that adapt the best, no? The
Yeah.
one that's going to be alive. So that is the one of the capacities of the emotional intelligent people, how to adapt and flow for the situations. And maybe you are not having the best result or the best the thing that you were expecting, but you are learning in the process, and you are like enjoying that process and feeling the way that you're feeling, Alicia, like with power, like I can do it. I know that I have to learn. I'm going to make some mistakes, but I have the ability to do it.
Yeah,
And
to push through.
exactly, you push yourself. And I think it's one of the things of Generation Z that we have been seeing, that I'm sorry that I have this, I, that no everybody's there. You
Mhm.
like you like yin yang. You can be in the depressed one, like feeling that you, because it's too hard. it's too hard to motivate yourself to go to persist, to change when you have all this chaos around you. So one of these like this like involving like holding you there. So it's many people, many of the people that is watching us maybe feels like I'm in the hole. I don't know how to go out. No. And the other way is this experience that when you put yourself and you go to have experiences, you learn and you feel like, ah, yes, I can do it. What do you
Mhm.
think, guys?
I think that this generation, well, we do have a problem with failure. I think we need
Mm,
to understand that failure is okay, and that, we don't have to be perfect and have good grades. I think there's a lot of pressure put on teenagers these days to know what they want to do and to follow up to what their parents want them to do. And it's very important to recenter on ourselves sometimes and, you know, put things down and really think, what do you want to do? Probably you won't have the same job in life, you'll change, and that's
mm,
okay. You just have to adapt, like you mentioned previously.
mhm, mhm. Yes, and have that time to reflect,
Mhm.
because it's the other thing that this generation, and not only you, but I'm not too hard, too there, deep there. But everything we have been talking about the time. Everything is fast, fast, fast information, the fast food, the fast relationships, fast, fast, go, 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 go. So this like a wheel that is moving, don't give you time to stop and reflect
Yeah.
what what I want to do, what I want to do with my life. So we have been talking about the importance of mindfulness, to have those time for yourself. In this case, I think the maybe before or after you're traveling to Africa, you have that time back with yourself. Like, oh, okay, I'm by myself. Mhm. Yeah, it's like watching yourself in the mirror. That not everybody can do it. That. Mhm.
And I think the people over there really helped me as well because the culture is very different. It is still South Africa, so it's pretty British in a sense, but the people are more relaxed and, in their day, they have things to do, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I just feel like in Europe or in the United States, everything is so always very rushed, and nobody just takes the time to do things. Just
Watch
you
the sky. Like, just going and watches the sky, or enjoying a smile of a boy or children.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, you're right. And I'm very like shocking, because for me, the life in France is slow. It's like enjoying to eat. And now you're telling me in Africa is more, no?
They don't take everything for granted, and I think that's important. They're grateful for what they have, and sometimes we don't do that too often.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, that.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna touch upon that. Like that really resonated with me, especially today, because today I woke up, right? I went to class, then I had to go do something else, then I had to come back, then I had to do something else, then I had a meeting, then I did my workout, then I took a shower, and then I was rushing to get to the like Zoom meeting right now. So I feel like everything, like we don't enjoy anything anymore. Like not everywhere, right? But like specifically here in the United States, I feel like we're always like pushing ourselves to do more and more and more and more. And while that is not necessarily always bad, I feel like Generation Z is like slowly becoming more aware of this, and they're like, nah, like we're kind of rejecting that because we
Mm.
want to be more laid back, right? What do you think, Alicia?
Yeah, I think we should be more laid back, and especially little things like, for example, after class just taking a break and cooking a meal. Like cooking shouldn't be a chore, but more just a pastime, just discovering new things. Not okay, I have 5 minutes to make pasta, like go go go. It's just yeah.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I see that you were describing your day, Samuel. You are this, you are busy. But the worst thing is when you have time and you're in the electronics, like just avoiding to contact with yourself. because sometimes we have time, but we don't use it as like the way to prepare the meals or go and walk or do exercise or sleeping well. That basic things that we need to be mental health in one good shape, no?
Yeah, we got to be conscious of that, definitely.
I do think social media is very easy to get lost and to say, okay, I'll be on Instagram for 5 minutes, and then quickly the 5 minutes become 40 minutes, and then everything goes so fast, and
Yeah, especially when you're trying to sleep.
yeah.
Yes, yes, that is a problem. I think is the pharmaceutic, the medicine to go the antidepressive and the sleep, the medicine to sleep, to go to sleep is the ones that they are doing a lot of money. It's very difficult. What else, Samuel? What else? I have some ideas, but you go.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, how's your experience currently, like, in the UK? Like, how do you? Because I want to low key kind of compare, like, the average like teen life, right, in the UK to that of the United States. Because I have some friends that live over there, and I kind of have an idea, but I want to hear it from you. So,
Okay, so I've had an experience, well, growing up in Miami. So I kind of know the US as a child, not as a teenager, and I know France. And I feel like the UK is a mix of both in a way, because I do find that people have similar well, they are very sarcastic. It's not the American conversation talk. The American have a style of talking and making you feel comfortable. In the UK, it's more passive aggressive sometimes, but you
Mhm.
get used to it, and people are generally very nice. In London, everything is rushed. When you go in the street, usually in France, people say bonjour. They just stop and say hello to anybody who passes. In
Mhm.
London, that doesn't take place, sadly, but it's a capital, so during COVID, I was surprised coming here. People don't listen to the restrictions as much as I thought they would, um, which is very, well, sad in a way, because I feel like everything could go much quicker with the vaccine if people respected the guidelines. But genuinely, since I've arrived, we are in national lockdown, but I can still go to the park and exercise, and it is pretty nice. I'm still waiting next year, or maybe by June, for the clubs to open and having a normal social life again, but that'll come eventually,
Mm.
hopefully. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
yeah, yeah, I was asking because, like as I mentioned previously, I have some friends that live there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like we don't do that like American kind of thing. It's like we're always trying to like fake get along, right?" So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so we just kind of like I don't know, throw shade at each other, and then we just have a good time. That's what I've heard.
It's a very different culture. I don't think there's this, I don't want to say artificial, because sometimes people are very nice and asking you how your day was, but I feel like in London there's less small talk. People will get straight to the point. So yeah, sometimes it's useful.
Mm-hmm. Like that. And what about inside the campus? Like you told me about your classmates that are from different countries. How is the environment between you guys there?
Now, that's very interesting, because at the end of the day, well, in my accommodation and in my course in general, there are a lot of international students, because that's what the RVC, well, the Royal Veterinary College, they pride themselves to accompany international students in their bachelor degree. And so I feel like I'm meeting people every day from different cultures instead of just meeting English people. And that's very nice. I've been used to that when I grew up, because I was in international school. So obviously I would meet, people from Asia and people from Australia. But this is different. I really feel like they all have their stories and where they grew up, what they lived through. And it's very interesting to listen to. Definitely.
Beautiful. And I'm thinking about now as a psychologist that Hofster is the name of him, and he talks about the cultures as feminine and masculine, and the emotions. How like the American they are like more masculine, like I don't care, and like Mexico is more maternal, more feminine. So talking about culture, and I thinking about the emotions, how they express them. We were talking about the Americans, the people from England, the French people, how they use emotions to to express, to connect with others. So how do you present, how do you introduce yourself as a French people, emotionally talking? How
It's
is
very funny because when people, well, I had to do the process of introducing myself a lot at the beginning of the year because it was a fresh start for everybody. And the first thing people would say was not, you are, we can recognize you are French. They would say, oh, you're from the US. You have kind of an American accent, you know, like you're French? Is that true? So it was pretty funny to explain that, yeah, deep down, I was still French. And I really love, you know, cheese and baguettes, and they all have their stereotypes, which are very funny, by the way. But yeah, it was it was fun. It was really fun.
hybrid? You're a hybrid, and
Yeah.
and that's open your mind to be more tolerate, more like understanding, empathic, to be more close to the others. No.
Definitely. I feel like the fact that I grew up in different areas and met a lot of new people growing up, I'm not scared of difference. Like if I see somebody who's different to me, it makes me even more interested to get to meet them because I know they'll be able to make me learn something, or well, talking to them will, you know, will open up even more. So yeah.
Beautiful. Samuel, you're very quiet.
Yeah,
I'm
I was just
talking.
trying to get all the information in, but yeah, I agree. I think that like being from different places or like having interacted with people from different places definitely makes you a person that's more like complete per se. Like you're not so one sided with like not issues per se, like political stuff, but more like
Mhm.
people knowledge. You know what I mean? Like in general, like emotional knowledge. I would say, right? So it's like when you get to talk to all these people, right? Like in my school, there's some people like not as diverse probably, but like there's people from everywhere to some degree. So it's very nice. Like it's very interesting, and like I feel like you learn a lot. For me, I've known like kids from Asia, kids from South America, of course, kids from the US, kids from Europe. So it's like I feel like we all get along there, and it's because we have interacted with each other, and that's something that tying it back to the Gen Z podcast ideology is that through this, right, through this like behavior and I guess like sharing of information and just like hanging out, we learn to like live together better. That's what I wanted to say, but I couldn't get it out.
As a community.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you are very inclusive. It's one of the more like the descriptions of Generation Z. You are inclusive, sex, political, maybe like with the strong ways, thinking ways, no, but you are there, like trying to open minded, changing the things, the way that we structure the ideas, like the traditions. It's because everything is in crisis: religion, sexuality, politician, medicine, environment, la parte, the environmental part, no. So you are very, many of you are vegetarians, or the, so it's like asking everything and curious and open-minded. It's beautiful. I like that because we need to, in the way that we are open and we are trying to adapt and we are like curious, like want to know more about the others, is the same way that you're learning and accepting and absorbing new ideas, and that makes you more growing and growing, no.
Sometimes it is hard, that past of traveling everywhere. When I present myself, and this happened this year, people were very overwhelmed by what I had lived, and they were envious in a way that just by me presenting myself, not going into detail, not boasting about, you know, everything, but they felt overwhelmed. And feel like maybe they were like, oh, she has lived through so many things that we haven't. You know, maybe she's too much as a friend or stuff like that. Maybe they didn't relate in the same way as I hoped they would, but I get it, you know, when you lived in the same place all your life, it's different. It's still very enriching because you develop like relationship to people for so long that I haven't because I've been jumping from area to area, but yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes. And go somewhere. Go if you.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say that like that is true. That is very true. That's one of the bad sides, the negatives of being a person that has gone to a lot of places, right? But I would say that still definitely like everything has their upsides and downsides, right? Like living in the same place, always you only know certain people, you only know this and that. And while that can be a really good thing, as you said, I feel like that's part of the problem of the past, right? To, I guess, be more not inclusive in the way, again, like politics. I don't like to bring like politics a lot on the show, but just in general, right? Like I feel like our generation, more like you and I, for example, we can talk to someone about anything and be open about it, and as long as you're not weird, quote unquote, right? Like a psychopath, we can get along fairly well.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
definitely.
But on the other hand, I listening you and then I'm thinking about I don't know how to explain. It's like yes, you are open, but to go there, it takes you time.
Yeah.
Almost all of you guys, because it's like I remember Sofia. She told me my daughter. She's in the university and she was in a Zoom meeting with the people from college, and they started the meeting with the classmates, and she said, "Hi, good morning." Nobody answered. Nobody. Everybody was turned off the camera and the mic, and she was like, "Oops." Like
Like, did I do something wrong? And no, like that's just,
so
respect and kindness.
exactly. So, but it's like, oh my God, talking about emotions, how, and then another, I'm very shy, but I hide in on the side. It's loud. Wow, wow. It's like how, and I think it's like this technology that you are not having this opportunity to express, to
Yeah.
interact, to communicate. You don't have in that now in like this here in the city and the school board of the city in the elementary school they don't have recess anymore, so they don't play. It's like crazy. So how can we develop those social skills to express and to communicate and to say hi at least? So yes, but you take time to go there and then to be inclusive. Yes, let's talk about that. So how what do you think about that?
I can totally relate to what you were saying with Sophia because the first 4 months of my university experience was online and we were all from different countries. So our interactions were via Zoom, and many people didn't put their camera on or they were very shy. And honestly, for the first few months, I didn't meet anybody because it was just, I think, hard for people to make that step forward through social media and not actually seeing people like face to face. It is easy if you're in a room with someone to go talk to that person because it's natural to talk and express yourself when you're in front of that person, but through Zoom or through social media in general, it can be hard and it can be intimidating.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking that like this responsibility, right? Like changing per se relies on us, obviously, but I think the older generations have also something to do with it because I feel like nowadays, like millennial parents, they have their kids, right? They just shove an iPad in their face. So it's like these kids are never going to develop the social skills that even we have that are like not the best.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things. And
yes,
then
yes.
again, as Alicia was saying, like it's so not difficult but like so unnatural because we're like behind the screen, so it's like we don't really see each other truly. No, we just see an image, right? And while we're chatting right now, like chatting to complete strangers is, something not very appealing to a lot of us. So
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yes, and guys, it takes like there is an organization, emotional intelligence, the biggest one in the world is 6 seconds, because it takes 6 seconds when you have all this the sensorial, like the sensations when you are face to face, the smell, the hearing, the touching, all the sense, to have that information to elaborate and then to express yourself. It takes between 6 to 10 seconds. So I understand you. It's very hard because you don't have all the information to react, emotionally react, and to be empathic. That's why is the cyberbullying and that kind of stuff is happening a lot, because it's too easy. You're just watching, scrolling the screen, and yes, and making a bad commentary, like don't thinking about the other, because it's very fast. It doesn't have you don't have that time to be empathic.
yeah, and I was gonna say something else, like going back to the online communications, as you said, like it's so easy to be rude, right? Rather than being like a nice person, right? And it's so simple to like not care, right? Because you just pretend like, okay, I don't care if there's a person like on the other side, right? Whatever, I don't care, whatever. It's
Mhm.
so easy to say that, and I feel like a lot of us say that, and that's part of the problem, right? Like nobody talks to us about this. It's like, to me, right? It's something that we just kind of do because we're like trying to get by, as you said, because we want everything fast. Like, oh, I just want to get out of this class. I just want to get out of this a meeting. I just want to get out of this, whatever, right?
Mhm. Yes, to hate. No, when you say I hate this, I hate that. And yes, I was talking about in a session that I had today with a family, that all emotions are contagious. ¿Cómo es en inglés? Contagiosa.
Contagious.
Contagious. So if somebody's smiling and is laughing, you are going to laugh. And if somebody's mad, so it's very, and as you said, Samuel, it's a responsibility that you have to connect with your emotions and to change that emotion. And it's too difficult because now the complete world is in crisis. It's a chaos. So it's too easy to get depressed, to get good anxiety. So that's why it's important to connect, to understand. No, 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 no. Okay, this is maybe a torment, but I want to see the sun. The little every day the sun goes out. No, like having that hope that the things are changing.
Yeah, and I think especially in lockdown, it's very easy to feel alone in your everyday routine. Even if you can be surrounded by people, sometimes you don't find the little things that made you happy last year, for example, when everything was more normal. And I've learned that it can be possible. For example, I used to do some yoga with my friends, and so now it's harder, but we've been doing it through Zoom, and we've set an hour, and like just trying to stay in contact with people that mean a lot to you, that can be like in another country. Social media, it can be bad, but it also has its positive aspects in the sense that at least we can stay in contact with each other.
Hmm. Hmm. And then the mask, using the mask, that you can see the expressions. I'm getting crazy with that.
That's also funny because sometimes when I see people, when I meet people down the road, for example, that I know, I smile to them. I don't say hello, but I smile, and then I remember that they don't see it, and so I'm just like, oh well, I hope they didn't, take it badly. Just I was like, everybody didn't see.
Yes, yes. The other time I was walking with my sunglasses and the mask, and I was making like, "Hey, good," but no, they didn't answer my. But yes, because they don't see me. So wow,
Mm.
wow. How can you connect with others if we have all this kind of stuff? No, it's too difficult.
Yeah,
No.
I think this is the perfect question for this specific program, like today. How do we connect with others
I
nowadays?
go
It should
answer.
be the guideline.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, as you said, right, the good thing about social media is that we can communicate with others online, And that is one way, that is one of the things we can do to keep in contact, because it's very easy to be like, oh, they call me or whatever, I just call them back later.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
it's easy on social media to show the positive aspects of your life. You don't tend to show when things go bad or when you feel lonely. It's more all the positive. So you can get the impression from other people that they are living their best life at the moment, but it's just a facet of their whole day or their whole week. And I think sometimes you have to remind yourself that, like, it's only a facet of reality. Social media, you choose what you put on there as well. So
Mhm.
sometimes it can be intimidating, but you just have to remember, like, yeah.
Yes, yes, and I think I always explain the sadness, scare, and anger. Maybe anger not too much to the men because they are machos, so they express the anger fast better than the woman. No? And we can cry, we hug each other. But those three feelings, if they were like persons, we bullying them. We don't want them. It's always smiling and love. Nobody tells you, I hope you have a good cry tonight because you will feel better after the cry. No, I hope the best and get anger and go and push it, make like you with your pillow and get mad to get out that feeling. Nobody talks about
It's
those feelings.
important. It is very important. I feel like people don't. It's sometimes you need to have that cry or you need to have that frustration or that anger. It's just through exercise, or everybody has their own coping mechanisms, but I don't think it's something to, put aside. And I think this generation, well, we have not been we didn't learn to accept those emotions correctly.
Correct. And that is because the social media is like they're
Indeed.
selling happiness, selling and everything is okay and it's good. And it's not bad to have all the feelings. That's it's very healthy to understanding and to express the thing is how I express my feelings. That because sometimes we are avoiding that feeling and then it's like we explode and it's when we get depressed we got like maybe anger management and problems because we don't every day we don't express that. It's okay to say I'm scared, I feel alone and I'm sad today, I wake up sad. No, it's like yes, everybody's having that.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right, you don't know how because you neither my generation, let me tell you, that's one of the school
I think it would
systems.
have been even worse, right? I really don't think they allowed in your generation to feel stuff.
No, no, no. No, this thing them because I'm psychologist, but this thing of emotional intelligence is not new, but it's like little by little. And now I'm very glad in the good way that after this COVID, the people have been so bound that they are like, I need something to give me techniques. Now they're interested to develop social emotional skills. The companies, the schools are asking me to do workshops to talk about this because now everybody's anxious with the press and they need to manage their time and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's we don't need to wait until you feel. And we were talking about that when our last guest. No, don't wait until you are depressed. It's like prevention instead of correction. No, it's first of all, take care of yourself.
Yeah. I wanted to say that I agree, right? Like, I think having the good side and the bad side of life is very important. And I think that being neglectful of your anger, your sadness, any other negative emotion, like your fears, right, is something very bad. It's something that you can, as you said, like bottle up and then like it's going to explode and you're going to feel horrible. And I agree. I think that's very bad. But I also think that we've been conditioned socially to kind of reject like a friend, right? Like at times, not always, but like sometimes we're like, oh, nah, I don't want to hear it, man. I'm sorry. I'm having a good time, right? I feel like that's something that we should also work on, because I'm guilty of this myself, but I have also experienced it, right? I'm like, oh, dude, this happened. They're like, bro, like, I can't, you know? So it's something, I don't know, like, it's just an afterthought of everything we just spoke about. But it's something, like, I'm saying it because it's something that I believe we need to be conscious of, that we are kind of rejecting the people we love and we care about at times. So,
I agree with you. I think it's important to be aware of that, but the same way, the opposite as well, for somebody who's depressed and when you want to help that person, it's important sometimes to think about yourself in the sense, don't destroy yourself to help that person. Of course,
definitely.
it's good to help that person, but sometimes, too much is too much, and you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? What are you contributing to make that person feel better? Are you, kind of ruining your day just to make that person feel better? So the two sides,
Mhm.
a balance. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Balance is key.
Mm.
I think that what you said is completely true, right? I completely agree 100%. Um, I think that though at times, like, people tend to do that, like they tend to destroy themselves, and that's why they stop doing it. That's why they stop helping other people. So it's something, as you said, to be aware of.
Mhm. But there's the same. We're in the same track, because if you don't work with your own emotions, you are not able to help others with their emotions.
Yeah,
Or if we have this kind like coaching, therapy, those spaces where you grow up your self knowledge, you can be, because you are not empowered yourself. So it's like, no, 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 don't touch me, because I'm dealing with myself, and then I having more from outside. So if you're strong, emotionally strong, you can help, not depending on that person, but you can give some support and tell them, at least go to therapy, go to coaching, do something,
yeah,
because you have that experience.
Mhm.
But it's like everybody's ignorant here, like, no, and it's like the snowball is growing and growing and growing. No.
Mhm.
yeah. I'm a strong advocate of that. Like, I don't think we should be like, oh, I'm depressed, like, oh, I'm sad, oh, I'm angry, like all the time. But I think we should, as a society, accept it, right? That's why you see I play guitar there, right? And I always play like very heavy music because I feel like it's the perfect outlet, right? I can do what I want, right, without hurting anybody, or just being myself, right? And it's like, because I think we have two polar opposites, like the people that pretend to be happy all the time, and then the people that are always sad, right? They always have a problem or something. Like, we never have anything in between. So that's something that I feel like if society were to move forward, right, and accept these emotions as something natural, we wouldn't have this issue, right? We wouldn't have this dialogue per se.
Hmm. That's why the importance of these kind of platforms, to express, to talk, just to, no, like having these conversations. We're almost on time, Samuel.
It
Can we?
went very quickly.
Yes, yes, very fast now. But can we? I don't know. What do you think, Samuel? Just to have like a brief bullets, no, of suggestions for Generation Z, and the generation that is after Generation Z is Alpha, that are the little ones. So, and for my generation and the millennials and my generation, that's the Y, I think. So, like your parents, maybe we can divide in three parts, if you agree, Samuel, like having suggestions for your generation, for my generation, and for the little ones. How, what to do to be better, emotionally better, and talking about mental health and this stuff. What do are you agree, Samuel, or do you have
Yeah.
another?
No, I think it works. I have one general suggestion for the three at first. I think the first comment that I would say, right, that everybody has to do, you gotta understand that sometimes you're gonna feel sad, and that your life is not perfect, but nobody's life is perfect. So that's okay.
Mhm.
That's the first recommendation. And then, in my opinion, generally, our generation has to stop being so obsessed with like technology, right? And understand that that's not everything there is to life, right? uh, Generation. What was the next one? X?
I don't know. I think it's X, Y, or something like that. I don't know.
Well, the one that goes after us. You guys have to be careful
Alpha,
of
alpha. That is
alpha.
alpha. Mhm.
Yeah, well, alpha has to be careful of all these things because I feel like we're just gonna pass them on, and then millennials, right? They have to be aware that you know life is not gonna be perfect, and I feel like their generation is very like, oh my god, we're so angry with society, like this is so annoying. But I feel like they gotta understand life is not gonna be perfect, but you can make it perfect for yourself if you decide to do so.
Mhm.
That
Nice.
was very well summarized.
Thank you, thank you.
What about you, Alicia? What about you?
Well, what he said basically, I think we as generation Z should step back and, sometimes stop thinking about ourselves and our little bubble and reach out to others. Something that you guys as millennials have done, and we just need to learn to really sometimes focus on others and stop being so self-centered.
Mhm.
And I think that for alpha generation, that'll be very important as well, because I feel like the COVID situation has shown like that sometimes learning can be efficient. For lectures, for example, for amphitheaters with 500 people, having it online at people who can watch the lectures at their own pace, it
Mhm.
can be a good thing, but then the social interaction is not there anymore. So I feel like the next generation may have online learning as like a normal system. And yeah, I think it'll be important for them not to forget to communicate and to face, to speak to each other, to stop being on their phones and actually enjoy.
Humans, yeah, no,
Yeah.
wow, wow, yes, and I think for generation, and is one of my challenges working with you guys is like, do not stop to make an effort, to be persistent, to believe, to have hope, and to, as you said, go out of your bubble and reach the hand of the others, to be compassive, no, like
Yeah,
ask and make like maybe three tasks every day, like be grateful, say hi, or to make a smile somebody, and enjoy the moment, the present. Do not complain a lot.
Mm.
I think it's like exercising and making that as a habit. Taka, taka, ta. Take care of yourself. And for my generation, listening more, listening. Stay there and do not say what to do. Just listening and asking, how can I help you? What do you need from me? Instead of jumping and going and, or just they say, no, it's not true that you're saying, you are wrong. I'm okay.
Trying to impose their point of view
Mhm.
that maybe was valid like a few years ago, but today a bit less.
And accepting is very difficult. And I understand because we're afraid. They're outside us, drugs, suicide, sex. So it's like, oh my God, I had to tell them what to do. But it's from our point of view, our own experience. And now the world is changing a lot. So it's like more being like this container where you can come and feel secure. But if we splash you, you won't come. So I think it's one of, and for the little ones, oh my God, the little ones, I'm very worried about them.
Mhm.
Just having this, I don't know, like stimulate the sensations,
Yeah.
the smell, the to touch, to go out of the park, to play with sand and to get dirty, to screen, o sea, to be like, to watch the sky, and mindfulness for everyone, to practice mindful meditation every day, yoga, uh, I don't know, those breathing techniques, those kind of stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So close the show somewhat.
yes, I'll do it, but before I have one final statement. So
Da.
everything you said is true, right? But you don't have to be hopeless because the best thing we can do as people is raise and nurture our families and friendships correctly. so that way we're not so afraid, as we have, I guess, hope in them that they will do the right thing, right?
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Well, thank you, Erica. Thank you, Alicia. So sorry for being so late. I am so sorry.
No. And we enjoy a lot, Alicia, to stay with you, to share with us your experience, your international experience from the other side of the sea. So it's beautiful to having you. And I hope to have some of your friends
Yeah.
and to share with us, just to like reflecting and to have this kind of space. And for you guys that you are watching us today, we have a little guest, but this program is in YouTube, and we are having our follow us in the IG. How do you say that?
Gen Z Mind Show.
In Instagram. Follow
Yes.
us, please, because we are making this movement and we want to share with you guys. Thank you very much. A todos, gracias. Muchas gracias. Merci beaucoup, Alicia. And see you in 15 days, next show. Bye.
Bye. Very grateful for having you guys. Take care.